Oh, there's gonna be a couple of weird ones in here, though.
It'll be fine. Welcome back to Sam and Ham. This is Sam.
And this is Ham.
And today we are going to be talking about some beasts you might find in the bestiary and things you might encounter out on the road while you're adventuring.
Yeah.
So this is something that I came up with just to give Ham a break. He's been working super hard on his videos, especially that tour of Strahd. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
Shameless shill.
I will happily do it.
That's fair.
So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to randomly pick 5 creatures here from our list of beasts, and then we're just going to kind of rate them. We're going to rate them based off of their stats, or what we're going to call DM tactics. Player appeal, so just basically how cool would it be to run into this thing if you were playing. And third would be lore. Does this thing have a cool story, a sad story?
So today we're going to be doing the CR 1/8.
Yes, CR 1/8, and how we're going to generate this, because you don't know either.
I don't.
I just pulled you over here and said
It's
we're
true.
recording.
I'm going along for the ride.
Is we're going to pull up a dice roller here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to count down the list, and that's the creature we're getting.
All right.
So I'm going to roll a d20 here on our random dice roller, and we're going to count and see which one we come up with. We can make that one go away. What? So,
wow, that is not bode well.
So number 1 here is the Aarakocra. Number 2, the second one we're going to do is 5 down for the Aarakocra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Boggle.
The Boggle.
Rolling the next one. So 15 down from the Boggle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. 15 is the Giant Crab.
Giant Crab! I love the Giant Crab.
Alright, that's 3. Number 4 is 4 more down from the crab.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4. The Guard.
The Guard. All right.
Pretty standard Guard.
I was really hoping we'd get him today.
And the last one we're going to be doing is 12 down from the Guard. Let's do some scrolling here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The Mountain Goat!
The Mountain Goat.
So we're going to go ahead and do a quick review. Give these guys a score 1 to 10 just based off of those 3 categories we talked about.
What are those 3 categories again?
They're going to be DM tactics, player appeal, and lore.
All right.
And at the end, we're going to rank these 1 to 5. Which one's going to be the coolest? Which one's going to be the worst?
All right.
So that first one we came across was
the Aarakocra Simulacra.
All right, his stat block over here on screen says that he is a medium-sized humanoid. He has AC 12, hit point is just 6.
He has 6 HP?
6 HP at that 1/8.
This boy ain't swole. All I'm saying.
At 1/8 of a level?
I mean, you're right. 1/8 CR is generally reserved for level 1, so I shouldn't judge, but wow. 6. All right.
He does have flying, though.
That's a pretty good one. Depending on how he gets played, he could potentially put down some pretty high-level people.
He could. He does do really well at perception. He's going to be kind of hard to sneak up on.
Yeah, and especially because he can fly, I imagine he's going to be doing more sneaking than getting snuck upon.
Mm-hmm. So his 2 moves are dive attack, which apparently he likes to fly and dive.
That's a really strong ability.
And it is. He can dive at least 30 feet straight forward at a target and then hit it with a melee attack. The attack deals an extra 3d6 damage to the target.
No, so what it is... an
extra 3 damage or a d6, sorry.
Yeah, it just gives you an average in case you're in a hurry and can't roll.
Gotcha.
I never used to do that, but I've actually found it is a little bit handy when you're trying to be fast.
Okay. And then we have the Simulacra.
Yeah. So these guys are from... What is it? Storm King's Thunder. Mm-hmm. I never read the book, but it looks like... Because I knew what a simulacrum was. It's a clone, basically. These guys are Return to Ice and Snow. So I must be missing out on some of the lore, but it looks like this is a ice copy, basically. That's why cool. The picture's blue. That makes sense.
Gotcha. And then some other actions it could take is just that talon attack.
Mm-hmm.
It has a javelin, typically.
Yeah.
Or it can summon an air elemental. Okay, so 5 Aarakocra. So if there's a group of them, they can just summon an air elemental together?
All 5 must use their action and movement on 3 consecutive turns to perform an aerial dance and maintain concentration while doing so. And once they're done, they can summon an elemental. It is friendly towards them and obeys their command if it remains for an hour or until it's on. So all the summoners die. The summoner can't perform the dance again until it finishes a short rest. When the elemental returns the elemental plane of air, any Aarakocra within 5 feet of it can return with it. So, I'd say you want to start diving into dissecting this thing, give us some scores?
Yeah, so DM tactics.
This guy's got some tactics. I'm saying flyby attack with its talons at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's doing an average of, like, 7 damage. That's enough to put, like I said, a wizard into the ground.
Yeah.
Potentially in one hit. And if this guy wants to be really mean, if your DM's feeling ruthless, again, I don't know anything about Storm King's Thunder, but if you're actually fighting these things at level 1, if you want to be just mean, fly around with a javelin in the air. All of a sudden, you're in trouble. Yeah, it's only got 6 HP, but well, how much AC did it have again?
12.
12. Okay, that's not too spooky. It will die to pretty much one attack from most people at level 1. But still, again, the ability to just completely avoid any melee attackers is pretty good. And being able to dive bomb to lead in with it is pretty strong. I've seen worse CR 1/8 creatures.
So let's go ahead and give this guy some scores. DM tactics, you said...
I think he seems pretty good. I'd probably give him, I think a 7's a good place to start. He's definitely above average.
For player appeal, I definitely think that I'm going to have to give him a 7 as well. That flyby tactic's pretty cool. I would go higher, except I don't want something flying at me and attacking me, so...
It could definitely get frustrating.
So, I don't know too much about Aarakocra, and what I do know is these guys seem to be dealing with a bunch of giants.
Yeah, I haven't read all the Storm King's Thunder, but I've got to imagine if they're going to have their own special made, I've got to imagine it's pretty good. And I know Aarakocra in general just have pretty good lore as well. Plus, again, I really like Air Elemental bit. And that plays into their lore. So I'd be willing to give these guys an 8 for lore.
All right, an 8 for lore, so a 7.
That's a pretty good score.
7, 7, and 8 gives you an overall average score of, what, 7.75? I don't want to do math. All right, next creature was the Boggle. All right, so a Boggle here. Oh my god, he looks ugly.
That is a disgusting little man.
He does have, he has a small
Holy
fey.
crap, he's tanky as hell.
And he's pretty tanky there for as little as he is at 14 AC. With 18 hit points.
You're gonna give me a CR 8th on that?
He's pretty sneaky too. He has resistance to fire damage, dark vision. He definitely is fey. He knows Sylvan. Sleight of hand and stealth. He's got pretty high scores on those as well. So he's gonna sneak up and rob your party blind instead of probably fighting them.
Yeah, he's definitely got a sneaking around if he wanted to. Holy crap, that's a lot of abilities.
Yeah, his special moves are Boggle Oil. Apparently he has non-flammable oil from his pores. It might be slippery or sticky. And can change the oil on its skin from one consistency to another as a bonus action. That's pretty cool.
That is.
The slippery oil, he gains advantage on dex to escape. Sticky oil apparently gains advantage on strength. Wow. He also has Dimensional Rift as a bonus action. He can create an invisible, immobile rift within an opening or frame, and it can see within 5 feet of it.
So it basically sees like an open door and can make a portal in it.
So this thing is straight up fairy, like fairy.
Yeah, no, it's a fae. The Dimensional Rift bridges the distance between that space and any point within 30 feet of it that can see the Boggle can see or specify by distance and direction. While next to the rift, the Boggle can see through it and is considered to be next to the location as well. So, okay, a Boggle can take an empty cookie jar and then name another empty cookie jar 30 feet away and stick his hand through to grab somebody that's trying to reach into the cookie jar.
He also has Uncanny Smell, apparently advantage on perception checks that rely on smell. So he can smell those cookies too.
It's fair.
This is where it sounds like he starts to balance back out with Pummel. He only has +1 to hit with reach of 5 feet, which is kind of strong, but only +1 to hit, and he only does 2, D1 -1.
He scroll back up to look at his strength.
He has
in the world, he has 18 dexterity. Why can't he? If this man picked up a dagger, he'd be a god. That's all I'm saying. But no, he just wants to punch dudes. All right. I see. He's so stupid. That's why he's a CR8. I get it.
Yeah, he has a -2 to intelligence.
Wow, he's actually stupid. All right.
Also -2 to charisma.
Well, that makes sense. Look at his face. I'm just saying.
That's a face not even a mother could love.
All right. Can you scroll back down? He has something else down here. Oil puddle. He makes a puddle of oil that is either slippery or sticky. Boggle's choice. It's an inch deep and covers the ground in the Boggle space. The puddle is difficult terrain for everybody but Boggles. If it's slippery, anybody can fall prone, or if it's sticky, they might get restrained. Mm-hmm. Okay.
He also likes to live in the forest, the hills, the Underdark, or urban. So, as a DM, I'm guessing you're not going to use this guy to punch people. You're going to use this guy to, steal magical items and just create madness for the party.
Well, I think you're right. I wouldn't steal items. That'd be just mean. Then again, this guy is mean. But,
I would say, like, their left boot or something, just to be inconvenient.
This guy is a support monster, though, if I'm looking at it, because I'm just saying, like, you can't one-shot him at early levels. Again, I'm not imagining you fight this guy past level, 2.
Okay.
Maybe 3.
Okay.
But I think this guy's made to be, like, a support monster. He can make that goo, he can make the rift, but he only does 2 damage. Mm-hmm. I think if you're using him as a purely support monster for something else, I think he'd be really good. On his own, I think he's going to be garbage. And even in a group of Boggles, I think you're looking at some hot garbage.
All right, well, one Boggle all by himself.
One Boggle by himself? Man, I gotta give him like a 4?
A 4? That sounds generous. All right. No, write it down. You said 4.
4. No takesy backsies.
Nope.
Player appeal.
Player appeal. I am one for chaos, and again, I think DM would just bring this guy in just to try to steal shit. Whether or not he gets caught, that's kind of up to the players and the DM. As for running into this guy, I don't think I want to see him. I'm going to have to give it a 3.
That's probably fair. And
then as for lore, just hearing...
Oh, here we go. I got some lore.
So going over to some info here, we have some lore. Again, it sounds like they're just the bogies of fairy tales. They just like to lurk in the dark of the Feywild and in the material plane. They like to hide under beds and closets and...
Yeah, these guys are one of the D&D creatures that I believe take a lot of inspiration from old folklore and stuff. So, honestly, I'd give these guys probably a good lore. I'd say probably 7 or 8.
I could agree with that. Let's do a 7 for their lore. I like the unreliable allies here at the bottom. Just
they seem like Fey.
Yeah, they do. They just seem like a irksome pest and unreliable ally.
Yeah. Up next is Giant Crab.
All right, the Giant Crab. Let's move on.
I'm hyped for Crab.
Hyped for Crab? Well, Crab has 15 natural AC, 13 hit points.
What a tank.
He does have 30 feet move, 30 feet swim.
Why can't he fly?
Because he's a crab.
I want Crab God.
We'll get a giant seagull to haul him around.
Yes!
He does have blind sight. For those who don't know, blind sight is a creature...
Blind sight is actually pretty good.
Yeah, he can perceive its surroundings without relying on sight.
I don't think it's going to be very useful at level 1, because none of your players are probably going to be invisible, but it is a good backup.
Also, if you guys don't know, crabs can't drown. They are amphibious. They'll breathe in water.
Well, there goes my backup plan of trying to drown him.
You're not drowning that crab. As for actions, he has his claws with +3 to hit with a reach of 5 feet, doing a d6 +1 of damage, and the target becomes grappled if they can't beat a DC of 11. The crab has 2 claws, each of which can grapple only 1 target. So that's 1 player a claw?
Yeah.
A turn?
Yeah.
So he can attack twice.
No. He can only attack once a turn. He's basically saying, turn 1, you grapple 1 guy. Turn 2, you grapple the other.
Ah, gotcha. Cool. He is coastal, so odds are you're not finding him in a forest. And this is his source material down here. That's a lot of anagrams. His stat...
Look how popular he is. He's in everything. So, as a DM, guy actually sounds pretty alright. I think he's got enough health that he probably won't die in 1 hit, probably 2. And he's got enough AC that it could probably be a little bit frustrating for level 1 players, but nothing awful. I gotta say, my favorite part about him is the grappling. A lot of players at level 1 probably don't know how grappling works, and so if he's able to get in a melee with a wizard, and the wizard tries to say, I've run away, or the rogue tries to disengage and run away, You can't. Unfortunately, he is kind of weak at only about a d6 plus 1 damage, so 6 player appeal.
I'm gonna have to give him a 5 for player appeal. I do love me some crab people, but Tomatoa was never a friend of mine.
Lore.
So lore, again, you're right. He's pretty much everywhere. He could be found in any ocean.
Does that count as lore? I think we have to count that as lore for a beast, right?
They're found in any ocean?
No, I can't do it. As much as I love the crab, I think we gotta give this like a 2 or a 3.
A 2 or 3? There's no special crab. It's just a giant crab.
And they don't even explain it. It's not like, oh, this is a weird experiment gone mad. No, it's just a giant crab.
Okay.
They're in Skyrim. They're in every RPG. Giant crab.
Giant crab. So because it's so common, a 2?
Unfortunately, yeah. I'd have to give it a 2.
A 2.
Next up is Guard.
The Guard.
My boy. Look at that handsome lad.
Yes, he is fairly handsome. He's a medium-sized humanoid, can go under any alignment, any race. They typically have a chain shirt and a shield, with an AC of 16. 11 hit points average. They can move 30 feet. They are your standard human fighter.
Yep.
Standard human stats. No charisma, no wisdom, no intel. Just a little extra here on the front end. They're kind of hard to sneak up on with that passive perception of 12, unless you're really good at sneaking.
I'm just saying he's a guard. He's supposed to be guarding things. He's supposed to be on the lookout for stuff, and he's got a +2 to perception. This guy's above average at his job. Ooh.
All right. As actions, he's got his spear, pretty average, +3 to hit. He can throw it.
Or if he uses 2 hands, it ups the damage.
You are right, and that's pretty much all he has. So, DM tactics. I feel like, just to weigh in here, guards are pretty common. They are used often by DMs. Pretty standard, back burner encounters.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't thrown a default guard at anybody in quite some time, because usually my players are stronger than the guards by the time the guards are useful. And I was fully, ready to sit down and say, yes, guard, yes, because I like humanoid enemies, they're cool. But, man, this guy kind of sucks, not gonna lie. He's about as useful as you can find use for him. They try to give him a little bit of, variety by being able to either throw his spear or use it in 2 hands or one-hand it with a shield for DM use. I'm gonna try to not bias myself with the fact that these guys are literally everywhere. Just looking straight at the stats, I'm gonna give him a 3. I mean, look at his stat block. That's the shortest one by far.
Yeah.
There's really not much to go with here.
You're not wrong. So, for player appeal, I'm probably gonna have to give him, a 4.5, but let's just round down to 4.
That's fair.
Just because guards typically mean you're heading in the right direction of a campaign.
Or the very wrong direction.
Maybe. But that typically means they're guarding something and there's loot. But basically what I'm thinking is that guard represents something of value, and I want in. I want that. I want that for my own purpose of, holding the shiny object. But for lore, I think we kind of have to fall back on the giant crab thought process here of they're everywhere, there's not much lore or flavor behind them.
Well,
they're so commonplace.
One thing I will say, if you want to put lore on a guard, this guy could be anyone.
He could be anyone.
This could be anyone with any amount of training. The blacksmith's kid knows how to use his sword, guard stat block. I think this guard is as useful for lore as the DM makes him, which can be either 10 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10. Therefore, my recommendation is a 5.
I'll give it a 4.
Fair.
Based on that argument.
I don't think we're going up from here, though.
You don't think
Last one's up, Mountain Goat.
Mountain Goat, 10 out of 10.
Mountain Goat.
Mountain Goat got lore.
Mountain Goat got lore?
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta click on that when we're done here. Alright.
Okay, so the Mountain Goat, the mighty beast of the hill. They have low AC with 11.
Brutal.
However, they have 13 hit point.
True.
And they have a climb speed of 30, so this guy can go up ladders.
Yes. And he's got a speed of 40.
He do.
That 10 extra speed doesn't sound like a lot, but theoretically, no fighter will ever catch him.
You're not wrong. He has -3 to charisma, which is sad because I am charmed by this Mountain Goat. And he does have a charge. He can move at least 20 feet forward and hit a target. And that takes an extra d6 of damage. And also, they have to do a strength saving throw or be knocked prone, basically, if you get hit by that.
That's actually pretty good, because, like, if you lead in, and I'm looking at their RAM ahead of time, is a D6 plus 2. Mm-hmm. So theoretically, if the mountain goat charges somebody, that's 2d6 plus 2. That can potentially do 14 damage, one-shotting even potentially a hardened barbarian if he gets a really good roll.
Definitely. Sure-footed. That goat also has advantage on strength and dexterity saving throws made against effects that would knock it prone. So basically,
nobody's going out goat tipping.
Yeah, no one's knocking this goat over. But you're right, and also just looking at that ram attack, he just bonks into somebody, and he hits kind of hard.
It's true.
A D6 plus 2.
All right.
But you're right. But with that charge and the ram action, that's a lot of damage for an eighth of a level. DM tactics. How often are we going to see some goats here?
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10?
1 out of 10. I hate it. And again, a CR in 8th, this guy isn't a boss for anybody. There's going to be probably like 5 goats against a level 1 party, maybe 4 or 5 goats. I'm sure, we haven't looked at the rest of these guys, but I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 other creatures, even at this CR, that have some kind of a charge. There's nothing else here. The sure-footed is the only thing that's vaguely interesting, and quite frankly, I do not see anybody going, oh, I'm going to try to be tactical and knock this goat prone. I don't see it. I think this guy is the most boring of stat blocks. Nothing here.
Well,
screw you, goat.
The player appeal side, I think I want to give it a 4. I love goats.
I know you do.
I'm a little biased here, to be honest. Be happy I didn't rank it higher.
That's fair.
I love goats.
That's fair.
But I think that we'll have to agree that they get like a 1 or a 2 on lore. Just because...
It's a goat.
It's a goat. I gotta click on info, though. They are found in the spine of the world and on slopes. They have thick fur and layers of body fat. I mean, that's really good for if you're wanting to make some extra coin.
We got a killer here, though. Read that last line.
Goats are territorial, but easily hated with offerings of food. Their stubbornness makes them difficult to domesticate.
Look,
so
I'm just saying...
The druid isn't going to make a pet goat here.
Exactly. The only other perk of a low-level beast is the druid wants to tame it. And they can't. This one's going to be hard to tame. Nah, I'm good. 2 out of 10?
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
All right, and coming in at number 5 is our goat. Unfortunately, the goat just did not match up to the others. Up next at number 4 is the guard.
He's boring, basic, and he's in every campaign, but quite frankly, he ain't got it up to snuff to compete with anybody else on the list other than a goat. So congratulations, guard. You're better than goat, but not by much.
And number 3, we have...
Giant crab.
The giant crab.
My heart goes out to you, giant crab, but unfortunately... You ain't got no lore. Why are you so giant? Well, there aren't giant crabs in real life. Where are you coming from? Explain yourself.
At number 2, we have... Boggle.
He's gross. He's sticky and slippery at the same time, somehow. And I quite frankly hate him, but I can't disagree. He's got lore. He's pretty darn effective if you utilize him right. Mm-hmm. And I hate him. Did I mention that?
I think you did. But that brings us to our number 1 spot today, and that is the...
Aarakocra Simulacra.
He just seems pretty cool. I mean, yeah, we're just talking about 1-on-1 here, but you get 5 of them together, they do something pretty darn cool. They got some lore that we're not 100% sure of, but it sounds great.
It does sound neat.
And we love the fact that they can fly while attacking.
It's a very strong tactic. Congratulations to the Aarakocra.
You are the king of the heap for the CR 1/8 level beasts.
We started off strong, didn't we?
Yeah, that's going to be a hard thing to beat. I don't know if any other creature can dethrone this guy.
Not going to lie, my heart goes out to Giant Crab. If Giant Crab couldn't win, then I don't know who's going to be able to dethrone this monster.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know why you're obsessed with the crab.
He's got big old claws.
Either way, feel free to stay tuned as we continue to go over creatures and just rank them arbitrarily based on our own thoughts and feelings.
It's very objective, I promise.
It's super objective.
But until next time...
This is Sam.
And this is Ham.
Bye-bye.